Fireworks, Jemimah Rodrigues, and rains. That was what happened in the first innings. Shafali Verma and Smriti Mandhana gave the best of starts, but couldn't continue for a long time. Jemimah Rodrigues, Jemimah Rodrigues played pretty well for her 49, although the match got stuck at 15.2 with India at 131 for 4. Richa Ghosh and Yastika Bhatia also contributed to India's innings. That is what happened in the first innings. Still, rain intervened. Currently, it's getting heavier and heavier at the ground. Let's hear it from Ananya about what happened in the first innings.
Well, I guess India, as we expected, kind of came out all guns blazing. Shafali Verma kicking it off with a 6, scarcely believable 6. I mean, she obviously sniggered herself. She wasn't sure how she hit that. But yeah, I think India, as everyone expected, kind of came out and took the bowlers on. But Ashley Gardner again, hey, getting Smriti Mandhana. She's her bunny now, 7 times, I think, in international cricket. And I think at the point of when both openers got out, you thought that India would maybe shut shop for a few overs, continue to consolidate. But I think it was great to see the batters just come out and continue with that momentum. I think even though Harmanpreet Kaur only played 5 balls, she looked really good. It was that front pad again that got her into trouble. But Jemimah Rodrigues, we spoke, in the pre-show about her and whether she is the ideal number 3 for India. And I think she is. She has all the gears, and of course she's come into this with a lot of confidence from the 100. It's great that that hasn't been dented, even though she was on the bench for a while. So it was wonderful to see India's the younger lot kind of come through and continue to play aggressively. Even Richa Ghosh didn't look at her best, but she just kept throwing the kitchen sink at it and got a fair few boundaries off the edge as well. So I think India kind of figured out if they want to challenge Australia, how they have to approach their innings. And it was great to see that kind of pay off.
Let's talk about that first 2 overs. Rather, the first over, Taylor Welming, excellent to see her back. Although the speed guns were showing 145, there was a bit too much. Maybe somewhere around 120, 125 was what she was bowling at. Shafali Verma, the first ball 6. Kalyani, your thoughts on that?
I just have one word for it, and that's outrageous. I mean, we have seen her do exceptional thing on the field before, but that shot was something. I think she was throughout the ODIs and tests, she was controlling herself, and now she's like, this is my format. I'm coming back, and this is what I'm going to do. And that was the outrageous shot. But we have seen her do these kind of things before, so I wasn't surprised at all. But man, it was beautiful to watch.
But did she even know that she had hit it for a 6? Like after the 6 was hit, her reaction was like, "Oh, okay." Did it actually go for a 6?
I don't know whether she knew that it happened or not. But as a spectator of someone who has seen her do outrageous stuff before, I think I'll add that to another. I'll add that to Shafali Verma outrageous thing folder for now. It's good to watch.
So we discussed in the pre-show that India's openers are going to be very important for India to score bigger runs. They did start off pretty well, but it was not a great, like a longer start. It was like 30 odd runs and Ash Gardner just took both the openers out. But still, the middle order today came to the party. We scored another 100 runs. So it was another 130 odd runs that India closed before rain interrupted. So Ananya, do you feel that India moving from that, okay, even if our openers are not doing well, we'll have our middle order that will potentially do well?
Well, I think, again, you have to put this into context. What is well in T20 cricket? Well in T20 cricket is not necessarily a 50-run partnership. Well can be 30 runs off 3 overs, which is exactly what these two did. They could have elongated it, but of course, I think 30 runs in 3 overs, you'd take that as a team batting first. So I think the openers did give us a good start. They took on the Australians, and that kind of allows although India didn't shut shop at that point, they did continue with the momentum. It kind of allows you or gives you a bit of breathing space when you're going at 10 runs and over at the start. So like I said, it was great to see the middle order kind of carry on the
I think so. We've lost Ananya, but Kalyani, over to you. Let's talk about that Australian lineup. Did Meg Lannon do a lot of chopping and changing? Because as we saw, it was just a 15-over game, but all 8 bowlers were reached.
She bowled 8 bowlers today, and I think this is where the pre-series talks of how much Australia is going to miss Jess Jonathan and Megan Schutt comes in, because there was no one from the other end to hold the ship together. If it has always been the case that Jess Jonathan had done that job for Australia before in the middle overs, and initially it is hitting Megan Schutt can be easy, as Shefali Verma has shown us before, that you can just go after her. But when she's at her top form, Megan Schutt, it's difficult to just navigate her swing. So that was missing. And I think what the more important fact for Australia today was they were missing the calming influence of Rachel Haynes, I believe. And that's why the dynamic of Haynes and Lanning is that one of them is a planned brain and other is go with the flow kind of person. So I think they missed that, and that's why we saw Perry only bowled 1 over. There were some issues with when McGrath should bowl. Perry didn't bowl a single over in power play. So Sophie Molyneux started at the other end. So these were the small snippets. I think the 3 players Australia missed today, and I'm including Rachel Haynes in that list as well.
So was it very surprising to see Perry not bowl in the power play? She came after the power play, bowled that 7th over, just went for 3 runs. So she bowled pretty well. But you know that Perry is not your death bowler, right? So why don't you bowl her? She didn't bowl any other over till the 15th one, even though she was in good form.
I believe when Perry actually bowled, because I think she went for less runs because there were new batters at the crease at the time she bowled, and India actually lost 3 wickets. Like they lost Smriti and Shefali in 1 over, and later after hitting it out, they lost Harman also. So I think Perez, like whatever figures are today, are not the true representation of what she can and may do in the match situations. But I think the way Ash Gardner bowled, it has always been the case with Ash Gardner and Smriti Mandhana these days that there has been always the wicket factor in it. So I think Elise Perry should have been supporting cast for Ash Gardner when she was bowling. That I think Meg Lanning missed that trick there. But I'm still surprised by Elise Perry only bowled 1 over, to be honest.
Ananya, do you have an answer to that particular thing? So I was discussing with Kalyani that 15 overs, Meg Lanning used all 8 bowlers that she had. Elise Perry, even after bowling a good first over, didn't bowl, because you know that she's not going to bowl you death overs, but still she didn't bowl any of the remainder overs.
So like she said, it was surprising, but again, it's the whole concept of when you have so many options, sometimes you're kind of tempted to throw the ball to all of them and just see whose night it was. I mean, I think Lanning probably did miss a trick and could have maybe given her another over, because she was getting the ball to shape away from the right-handers and bowling really testing lengths at a decent pace as well. I mean, I don't trust that speedometer, but hey, 125 Elise Perry, you never know. But I think she did miss a trick and could have given her maybe at least another over. I feel like the ball was passed around a little too much, and you could see that none of the bowlers really hit their marks. They were bowling far too wide to someone like Jemimah Rodrigues, who kind of feeds off with the third man or with the third in the circle. So it was, I think Australia kind of played to India's strengths a little bit, as they have through the series. So she did miss a trick, and I'm surprised Perry didn't bowl more, but we don't know what the workload management protocols are and things like that as well.
So there's an interesting stat about the player who did the best in this particular thing. Jemimah Rodrigues returns back to form, number 3, the youngest to score 1,000 T20I runs. And now another interesting stat Hypocos puts up is most scores at 49 not out in women's T20Is. 4 times happened with India. That's 2 with Mithali Raj, 1 with Deepti Sharma, 1 with Jemimah Rodrigues today. And it's only happened once each for Australia, Bangladesh, China, England, and Scotland. Very interesting. Let's talk about the player who has kind of put a stamp that the number 3 position now is mine, Jemimah Rodrigues. How impressive was she? She didn't go for the bigger shots as Shefali or Smriti did. She went for more grounded shots, went for more gaps, but she did decently well.
Yeah, she did. And look, I think the thing with Jemimah Rodrigues is, at least in the last while, is she's come to understand her game really well. And you know when you watch her that she's very, very strong through the offside. And she backs herself. I think when she came into the international circuit, or even maybe 3 or 4 years ago, when you watched her, she didn't quite have the power to clear the inner ring. But now she's developed that, and she's very confident that when you have the fielders in the ring, she knows she can go over them. And I think with her, it's all about her foot movement. So getting into positions where she can maneuver the ball into spaces that she wants to. And she's become extremely good at that. I think she reads the play very well. She understands where the gaps are and how she can then get the ball into those gaps. Understanding where the bowler is potentially going to target her. So when you're attacking her stumps, she's either going to pull out the sweep against a spinner or try and create some room and go over the offside. So it will depend on the field that you kind of set to her, and she reads it very well. She reads the play very well, and is able to then maneuver her footwork or maneuver her body into positions where she can then access the boundary. And I think that has come with experience, understanding how things work in international cricket. She's said this a lot, that, you know, her first year, it was kind of a whirlwind where people didn't kind of know what her strengths were, what she could do. They watched her for a year, and then they kind of tied up all those loose ends. They targeted areas that she couldn't quite score in, so she had to go back, and she's worked a lot on those kinds of things. And you can see that now in her development, where she understands that it's not just about the boundaries, it's also about running hard between the wickets. It's kind of also pushing your partner. So she's done that extremely well, especially in this inning where she really pushed Yastika Bhatia. I think Yastika was uncomfortable at some points, but that's exactly what you have to do in international cricket. Those two have batted a lot together for West Zone in age group and senior cricket. So even though they weren't very comfortable, I think they knew that they could work together, because they have had big partnerships at various levels. So it's great to see her kind of, again, that promise becoming a performance on the field, and especially after what's been a bit of a difficult period for her.
Jemmy just wants to run for 2, I think so, any ball. That's been the hallmark of what we saw. So coming to another player from Australia, Ash Gardner, took those 2 important wickets, bowled in that power play, has been very impressive. How's that coming off Ash Gardner, who generally used to be that batter who used to swing the bat, to now the all-rounder that Australia can depend on, either with the bat and now with the ball?
If I remember correctly, it was the 3rd ODI of the India-Australia series back in Baroda, and Jemimah Rodrigues and Smriti Mandhana put the opening partnership of 100 runs. It was all clueless again for Lanning, and she handed the ball to Ashley Gardner, and she got these 2 players out, back-to-back deliveries. One a beautiful catch by, if I'm not wrong, Rachel Haynes, another was LBW. What I'm trying to say here is that Ash Gardner was always that player. She just needed the push. And I think she's the poster child of a WBBL, because she's that big player who came through the system, understood the game. Like, she was the preferred person in the 2017 World Cup squad because of those performances. And then she performed very well throughout the World Cup in 2018. And if anyone remembers her performance in the 2018 World Cup final, I think that's what Ash Gardner can do for this team. And they have trusted her throughout these things, and they have put a lot of responsibilities on her. And as a batter, she has previously done extremely well. We all remember that match because India won the match in the Tri Series, but her 93 not out against India at the Junction Oval. Terrific innings. She has been that mature person for them with bat, and that it's just about being in the system and taking that responsibility for them. She has done that for Sixers. And also she has missed some of its seasons because of the concussion protocols. But whenever she has been there, she has been that impact player for them. And I think it'll be bold of me to say this right now, but I see a future captaincy for Ash Gardner for Australia.
Okay, so basically, Kalyani can just speak on any Australian player you give. She can do a PhD. That's what her expertise here is. Currently, the cutoff time is 4:36 p.m. India time, 9:06 Queensland time. For a match to happen, Australia to chase it down in 5 overs. Whether that will happen or not, we have no idea. But in case that does not happen, both teams will get 1 point each. So the scoreline after this particular game will be 7 in favor of Australia, 5 for India, which definitely suggests that if both the games, the second T20 and the third T20 happen, we are going to sure shot have one person lift that trophy. So before this, we were expecting that, the trophy may be shared. It may be 8-8 at the end of the series. May not look the case if this first T20 gets washed out. Heading into the second T20, just in case just in case nothing happens after this and the match gets abandoned, second T20, what are the changes that Ananya, you would want to see from India? It saw very limited. They did pretty well. Do you see any changes, or do you just see same 11 coming in?
I think it would be unfair to make any changes at this point, especially because the bowlers, I mean, if they don't get on, the bowlers wouldn't have had a fair go. And also, if they do get on for 5 overs, I wouldn't want India to make any changes because, I mean, how much can you prove in 1 over? It's the odds are stacked against you as a bowler. You're either going to go get hit for like 15, 20 runs, or you're going to maybe do a Samantha Bates and get 3 wickets in an over. So it's going to be really difficult. So I hope India kind of stick with the same 11. I think, if you've given Renuka Singh Thakur a go, then you're better off giving her a longer rope, or at least 2 games to see what she can do, what she is made of at this level, and at least give her a bit of exposure and say, hey, this is what you need to work on. This is what we expect of you at the international level. So I hope India go in with the same team, because it would be very unfair on all of the players if one of them were culled after this.
Kalyani, any changes to Australia?
I believe they'll make one change with Darcy Brown will come in for, I'm not sure for whom right now. Maybe because they would want to rest Tala Valemik also, because she has not played 3 matches in a row for, I don't remember, for a long time. So probably they'll rest Tala Valemik or Hannah Darlington, but I'll definitely see Darcy Brown coming into this side. And I just want to add this anecdote that the last time rain interrupted the match, these 2 sides were not playing against each other and there was drama. There was a World Cup semi-final. And the rain is adding to the drama. So when these 2 sides play, the drama is not leaving us. And I'm all for it, as I said before. Add to the drama, get to even to the last T20, make it happen. Let's add to the drama.
I remember being in Sydney that particular day, and afternoon rather, it was afternoon, evening-ish time when Harmanpreet Kaur and Heather Knight had to just speak for about 2-3 minutes. In that pavilion, just said that, okay, we can't do really anything. And it was kind of a bit of a nonsense kind of a thing, wherein England were claiming that they were supposed to play the evening semi-final. It was just Australia, because Australia was the home country, They made sure that they play the evening semi-final, whereas Australia was actually qualified to play that afternoon semi-final. If that would have happened, it would have been Australia knocked out, because South Africa would have won that particular game, and you would have seen South Africa in that final. So yes, rain can do a hell lot of things. We're still about 18 minutes away before we actually hear whether there is going to be a 5-minute game or a 5-over game or not. So Ananya says India should not have any changes. Kalyani says Australia may just have one change. They may just get in Darcy Brown in. Do you see any changes in India's strategy?
See, for them to change their strategy, they'll have to actually win a toss, which, surprise, surprise, they haven't done this for. So I don't know. Look, I think the way they approached the batting innings was very impressive. It was great to see, like I said, the middle order just carry on from where the openers left off, and that's the only way you're going to beat Australia. I mean, if you look at the Australian team, their batting lineup looks extremely solid. It's very experienced, and they have match winners there. But it's the bowling attack. While they do have very accomplished bowlers, it's the bowling attack that is the weak link at the moment. And if you have to hit them hard, you hit them hard there. So you go out all guns blazing. I wouldn't say put all your eggs in one basket, but I feel like that's your best bet of beating this Australian team, because if you give them 150, 160, you have to bowl extremely well to defend that total. And again, with India's bowling, I feel like that is also, I wouldn't say a weak link, but it's been an area of concern for them for a while. So if you have to put Australia on the back foot, it's coming out and playing attacking cricket, especially with the bat.
Any strategical changes you want to see, Kalyani, from your Aussie side?
Don't give width. That's it. Just ball to your lines and make sure Anisa Healy doesn't miss the stumps. So that's probably it for them right now. And just an additional anecdote, interesting thing we talked about before. Last time the rain interrupted Australia's match, Meg Lanning scored 49 not out. So let's hope we can continue adding drama to the situation for longer time.
So that's it from the mid-match show. In case we do not return, in case the players do not return on the ground, both teams will share 1 point each. It will be Australia 7, India 5. We're still about 15 minutes away from that cutoff time. Doesn't look like we're going to have a game now. The first T20I is done, nearly done, I will say. Look forward to seeing you guys for the second T20I on Saturday for the pre-show here on the Outside View Live.